Welcome to ARC Leadership for Hospitality, a practical guide to mastering human-centered leadership in the fast-paced world of service. At GWF, we lead with heart, clarity, and purpose. The ARC model, Affinity, Reality, and Communication, is the foundation. It's how we build trust, align expectations, and communicate in a way that truly connects. In this handbook, we'll explore how each part of ARC strengthens your leadership. We begin with Affinity, the emotional connection you create with your team and guests. You'll learn how to lead with empathy, build trust, and inspire loyalty through active listening and emotional intelligence. Next is Reality, the backbone of operational clarity. You'll set expectations, define roles, and find the balance between vision and execution. This is where alignment happens and where confident leadership takes shape. Then we connect the two through communication, the bridge that links people and process. You'll practice feedback techniques, resolve conflict with clarity, and learn how to coach in real time. Throughout the journey, you'll apply hands-on exercises to put theory into action, whether you're role-playing a challenging guest interaction or guiding your team through a shift debrief. And finally, you'll learn how to weave ARC into everyday leadership, across team meetings, crisis management, performance check-ins, and more. This isn't just a leadership model, it's a mindset, one that creates powerful, people-centered environments where excellence, respect, and sustainability thrive. Let's begin. 1.1. What is ARC? Affinity, Reality, Communication, ARC Framework for Leadership. The ARC framework is a core leadership model used in hospitality and team management. It was developed to enhance relationships, problem-solving, and teamwork by focusing on three essential elements. Affinity, A, the level of trust, connection, and mutual respect between individuals. Reality, R, the shared understanding of expectations, responsibilities, and facts in a given situation. Communication, C, the bridge between affinity and reality, ensuring clarity, alignment, and engagement. The strength of one element affects the others. If affinity is low, communication suffers. If reality is unclear, communication becomes confusing. A balanced ARC creates strong leadership, engaged teams, and satisfied guests. How ARC works in leadership and hospitality. 1. Affinity, creating connection and trust. Affinity is how well people relate to one another. It includes mutual respect, empathy, and understanding. In leadership, affinity builds team morale, guest satisfaction, and trust. A leader with high affinity listens, supports, and recognizes their team's efforts. If affinity is low, team members disengage, leading to low motivation and performance. Example, a manager who regularly checks in with team members, acknowledges their contributions, and supports them in challenges fosters high affinity. 2. Reality, setting clear expectations and alignment. Reality refers to facts, structure, and shared understanding within a team or operation. A leader ensures that expectations, responsibilities, and project goals are clear. If reality is unclear, teams face confusion, frustration, and inefficiency. Leaders must balance big-picture vision with practical execution. Example, a restaurant manager ensures all team members understand shift schedules, hygiene protocols, and guest service expectations. If reality is unclear, operations become chaotic. 3. Communication, the bridge between affinity and reality. Communication connects affinity, people's emotions and relationships, with reality, the facts and structure. Effective communication ensures clarity, transparency, and problem-solving. Leaders adjust their communication based on team dynamics and guest needs. Poor communication leads to misunderstandings, conflicts, and disengagement. Example, if a team member is struggling with workload, a leader with strong communication listens, affinity, identifies the issue, reality, and provides a solution, clarity in communication. Why ARC matters in leadership and hospitality. Creates high-performing teams with trust and clarity. Strengthens guest relationships through clear and empathetic service. Improves problem-solving and decision-making in leadership. Ensures operational excellence by balancing vision with execution. When affinity, reality, and communication are strong and balanced, teams thrive and guests receive outstanding service. 1.2. Why ARC matters in leadership and hospitality. The Affinity, Reality, Communication ARC framework is essential for leadership and hospitality because it strengthens team cohesion, enhances guest satisfaction, and improves decision-making. Leaders who effectively apply ARC create an environment where teams feel motivated, guests feel valued, and operations run efficiently. 1. The impact of ARC on leadership affinity, building a trust-based leadership style. A leader with strong affinity fosters trust and loyalty among their team. When team members feel heard, valued, and supported, they are more engaged and proactive in their roles, willing to take initiative and solve problems, less likely to leave due to job dissatisfaction. Example: a manager who regularly acknowledges team achievements and checks in with employees fosters an atmosphere of trust and positivity, leading to higher performance and commitment. When affinity is low, team members feel disconnected, unmotivated, or undervalued. Workplace conflicts and misunderstandings increase. Employees see their job as a task rather than a shared mission. Reality: ensuring clarity in leadership decisions. Reality in leadership refers to facts, structure, and shared understanding within a team. A leader must set clear expectations for roles and performance, align team goals with guest satisfaction and business success, ensure that operational standards and processes are well understood. Example: a restaurant manager clearly communicates shift schedules, hygiene protocols, and guest service expectations, ensuring that team members have a shared understanding of their responsibilities. When reality is unclear, team members receive mixed or vague instructions, leading to mistakes. Guest expectations are not met, resulting in complaints. Operations become inefficient due to confusion over responsibilities. Communication: the bridge between affinity and reality. Communication connects affinity, trust, and relationships with reality, structure, and clarity. Effective communication aligns the team by clarifying responsibilities and expectations, solves problems quickly by addressing challenges directly, encourages collaboration and teamwork across different departments. Example: a restaurant supervisor holds a pre-shift meeting to greet the team and check in with their well-being, affinity, review the menu and service flow, reality, answer questions and provide support, communication. When communication fails, teams misinterpret instructions, leading to service errors. Guest feedback is ignored or mishandled. Departments work in isolation, causing inefficiencies. 2. The impact of ARC on guest experience hospitality is built on how well teams work together and how effectively they serve guests. ARC ensures a positive guest experience by affinity, making guests feel welcomed, valued, and respected. Reality: delivering clear, consistent, and professional service. Communication: ensuring smooth interactions and minimizing confusion. Example: a guest checking into a hotel. The front desk agent greets them warmly and makes eye contact. Affinity: the agent clearly explains the check-in process and room details. Reality: the agent answers all questions professionally and ensures the guest feels informed. Communication: when ARC is applied effectively, guests trust the service, enjoy their experience, and are more likely to return. 3. How ARC improves crisis management. Leaders often face unexpected challenges, such as a customer complaint, a staff emergency, a service delay. Using ARC, a leader can handle crises effectively. Affinity: show empathy and acknowledge concerns. Reality: identify the core issue and provide a practical solution. Communication: keep all parties informed with clear, timely updates. Example: a restaurant runs out of a key menu item. The server sincerely apologizes to the guest and reassures them. Affinity: the chef suggests an alternative dish of similar value. Reality: the manager updates the team so all servers communicate the change to future guests. Communication: by applying ARC, leaders can turn problems into opportunities to build trust and strengthen relationships with both guests and team members. 4. How ARC supports sustainable leadership. A strong leader applies ARC daily to motivate and retain their team through trust and connection, ensure smooth operations by setting clear expectations, deliver outstanding guest experiences through effective communication. When affinity, reality, and communication are strong and balanced, teams perform at their best, guests receive excellent service, and the organization thrives. 1.3 How ARC strengthens team and guest relationships. The Affinity, Reality, Communication ARC framework plays a crucial role in fostering strong team dynamics and enhancing guest interactions. When leaders use ARC effectively, they create a work environment that encourages collaboration, trust, and clear expectations, ultimately leading to exceptional service and guest satisfaction. 1. Strengthening team relationships with ARC. A well-functioning team is the foundation of a successful hospitality operation. Leaders who apply ARC create a work culture where team members feel valued, understand their roles, and communicate openly. Affinity, building trust and team morale. Affinity within a team refers to the emotional connection, respect, and trust among its members. A team with high affinity works together more effectively, reducing conflicts, supports each other during busy or high-pressure times, feels more engaged, leading to higher job satisfaction and retention. Example, a manager who takes the time to check in on their team's well-being, acknowledges good performance, and provides support when challenges arise, fosters affinity within the workplace. When affinity is low in a team members feel isolated and disconnected from leadership. Workplace conflicts increase, leading to low morale. Employees become disengaged, resulting in high turnover rates. Reality, ensuring clear expectations and accountability. Reality in team relationships means that each member understands their role, responsibilities, and performance expectations. A leader strengthens reality by providing structured onboarding and training, setting clear key performance indicators, KPIs, and expectations, holding regular check-ins and performance evaluations. Example, a kitchen leader ensures that all team members are trained in hygiene standards, menu knowledge, and proper kitchen workflow. This shared understanding improves efficiency and consistency in service. When reality is unclear in a team, tasks are left incomplete due to confusion over roles. Some employees feel they are doing more work than others. Operational inefficiencies arise, leading to mistakes and guest dissatisfaction. Communication, encouraging openness and team collaboration. Communication is what bridges affinity and reality. A team with strong communication shares information effectively to prevent misunderstandings, gives and receives feedback constructively, resolves conflicts professionally, and maintains a positive work environment. Example, a restaurant team holds a pre-shift briefing where managers check in with the team and encourage collaboration, affinity. Review the day's menu changes and special instructions, reality. Allow team members to ask questions and clarify concerns, communication. When communication is weak in a team, important information is not shared, leading to mistakes. Misunderstandings cause unnecessary conflicts. Employees do not feel comfortable voicing their concerns or ideas. By aligning affinity, reality, and communication, teams become stronger, more motivated, and more effective in delivering great service. 2. Strengthening guest relationships with ARC. The hospitality industry thrives on guest satisfaction, which depends on how well a team interacts with guests. Applying ARC ensures that guests feel welcome, well-informed, and valued. Affinity, creating memorable guest experiences. Affinity in guest relationships means building a connection with the guest beyond just providing a service. Guests who feel valued are more likely to return and recommend the experience to others. How to build affinity with guests. Greet guests warmly and use their names when possible. Personalize service based on guest preferences. Show genuine interest in making their experience enjoyable. Example, a server notices a returning guest and remembers their favorite drink order, reinforcing a sense of familiarity and care. When affinity is lacking in guest interactions, guests feel like just another transaction instead of valued customers. There is no emotional connection, making them less likely to return. Negative experiences are more likely to result in complaints or bad reviews. Reality, providing clear and consistent service. Reality ensures that guests receive accurate information and consistent service. This includes clear pricing and menu explanations, providing accurate wait times for food or room availability, ensuring guests understand policies and services available to them. Example, a front desk agent clearly explains the check-in process, available hotel amenities, and local recommendations to a guest upon arrival, setting clear expectations. When reality is unclear for guests, guests feel confused or frustrated by unclear policies. Misinformation leads to unmet expectations and complaints. Guests feel misled, resulting in a lack of trust in the service. Communication, ensuring guest needs are met efficiently. Strong communication ensures smooth and professional interactions with guests. Effective communication with guests includes actively listening to their needs and preferences, providing clear and concise responses to inquiries, handling complaints professionally and offering solutions. Example, a guest complains about a delay in service. Instead of ignoring the issue, the server listens, apologizes sincerely, and communicates the estimated wait time while offering a complimentary appetizer. When communication fails in guest interactions, guests become frustrated when their concerns are ignored or dismissed. Poor communication leads to misunderstandings and service delays. Negative guest experiences result in bad reviews and lost business. By ensuring strong affinity, reality, and communication in guest interactions, teams can consistently provide exceptional service and build long-term guest loyalty. 3. The long-term benefits of applying ARC. When leaders use ARC effectively in both team management and guest service, the long-term benefits include higher employee retention. Team members feel valued, clear about their roles, and able to communicate openly. Better workplace morale. A culture of trust, clarity, and collaboration leads to a more engaged team. Improved guest loyalty. Guests who feel welcome and well cared for are more likely to return and recommend the business. Operational efficiency. Clear expectations and smooth communication prevent errors and ensure seamless service. Applying ARC is not just a leadership tool, it is a mindset that strengthens relationships, enhances teamwork, and elevates the guest experience. Chapter 2. Affinity. Building connection and trust. In this chapter, we explore the foundation of great leadership: connection. Affinity is all about the relationships we build with our team, our guests, and ourselves. It's trust, respect, and the human warmth that fuels collaboration. We'll dive into what affinity means, how to develop it through active listening and emotional intelligence, and how to strengthen it with every interaction. Plus, you'll get a hands-on exercise to practice empathy and trust building in real time. Because when connection is strong, everything else flows. Let's get into it. 2.1 Understanding Affinity. Creating positive relationships. What is affinity? Affinity refers to the emotional connection, trust, and mutual respect between individuals in a team or between service providers and guests. It is the foundation of strong relationships, fostering a sense of belonging, collaboration, and loyalty. In leadership and hospitality, affinity plays a crucial role in building trust within teams, enhancing team morale and motivation, creating positive guest interactions, strengthening brand loyalty and repeat business. A leader who prioritizes affinity creates an inclusive, supportive, and engaging environment, ensuring that team members and guests feel valued and respected. Why is affinity important in leadership? Leaders who build affinity with their team create a sense of psychological safety, where team members feel comfortable sharing ideas, asking questions, and admitting mistakes without fear of judgment. How leaders build affinity with their team: recognizing and valuing contributions, show appreciation for individual and team achievements, acknowledge effort and improvement, not just success. Example, a restaurant manager thanks a server for handling a difficult guest with professionalism, reinforcing the importance of empathy and patience. Practicing active listening. Give full attention during conversations. Show understanding through body language and verbal affirmations. Repeat and clarify information to show engagement. Example, a supervisor listens to a team member's concerns about workload and collaborates on a solution, showing that their voice matters. Leading by example. Model the behaviors and values expected from the team. Demonstrate professionalism, respect, and teamwork in daily actions. Example, a chef in an open kitchen maintains a calm demeanor during a rush, inspiring the kitchen team to stay focused under pressure. Encouraging team bonding. Foster teamwork through shared experiences and challenges. Organize team-building activities that promote camaraderie. Example, a cafe owner arranges a coffee tasting workshop where baristas can learn together in a relaxed environment, strengthening affinity among colleagues. Supporting team growth. Provide mentorship and opportunities for learning. Celebrate progress and encourage career development. Example, a hotel manager assigns a promising receptionist to shadow the guest relations team, giving them a growth opportunity while demonstrating trust. What happens when affinity is lacking in a team? Team members feel undervalued and disconnected. Collaboration breaks down, leading to conflict and inefficiency. Morale drops, increasing turnover rates. A lack of trust reduces engagement and motivation. A leader who neglects affinity may struggle with team resistance, poor communication, and an overall decline in service quality. Why is affinity important in guest relationships? Hospitality thrives on emotional connections. Guests who feel welcomed, recognized, and valued are more likely to return and recommend a business. How teams build affinity with guests. Creating a warm welcome. Greet guests with a smile and genuine enthusiasm. Use their name whenever possible. Offer personalized service based on their preferences. Example: a hotel receptionist remembers a returning guest's favorite room type and offers it without being asked. Being attentive to guest needs. Observe body language and anticipate needs before guests ask. Offer assistance proactively and check in throughout the experience. Example: a server notices a guest looking around and approaches them before they have to ask for service. Showing empathy and understanding, acknowledge concerns and resolve issues with sincerity. Make guests feel heard and respected, even in difficult situations. Example: a barista apologizes when a guest receives the wrong order and quickly remakes the drink with a complimentary cookie, turning a mistake into a positive moment. Sharing knowledge and passion. Engage guests by sharing insights about the menu, ingredients, or local recommendations. Make every interaction feel informative and meaningful. Example: a sommelier at a fine dining restaurant describes the story behind a particular wine, enriching the guest's experience. Ensuring a thoughtful goodbye. End interactions on a positive note by thanking guests sincerely. Encourage them to return by expressing genuine appreciation. Example: a boutique hotel manager walks a departing guest to their car, thanking them personally and offering a small farewell gift. What happens when affinity is lacking in guest interactions? Guests feel like just another transaction, not valued individuals. Service feels impersonal, reducing guest satisfaction and loyalty. Negative experiences are more likely to result in complaints or bad reviews. Guests are less likely to return or recommend the business. A service provider who prioritizes affinity ensures that every guest interaction feels meaningful, leading to stronger brand reputation and repeat business. How to strengthen affinity using the ARC framework. Since affinity is the first step in ARC, it must be developed before strong reality and communication can be established. Action: how it builds affinity, impact in teams. Recognizing contributions shows appreciation for efforts, increases motivation and engagement. Active listening makes people feel heard and valued. Strengthens trust in relationships. Personalizing service creates meaningful connections, enhances guest satisfaction and loyalty. Encouraging teamwork builds bonds and collaboration. Improves team morale and efficiency. Leading with empathy supports team and guest concerns, resolves conflicts, and fosters loyalty by focusing on affinity. First, leaders and service teams lay the foundation for stronger reality, clear expectations, and better communication, smooth interactions. 2.2 Active listening and emotional intelligence. What is active listening? Active listening is the ability to fully engage with a speaker, understand their message, and respond thoughtfully. In hospitality and leadership, active listening is crucial because it strengthens relationships, improves problem solving, and ensures clear communication between team members and guests. Unlike passive listening, where a person simply hears words, active listening requires full attention, nonverbal engagement, and thoughtful responses to show understanding. Key elements of active listening: paying full attention, avoid distractions and focus on the speaker. Nonverbal cues: use eye contact, nodding, and open body language. Clarification and reflection: repeat or summarize key points to confirm understanding. Avoiding interruptions: let the speaker finish before responding. Responding with empathy: acknowledge the speaker's emotions and provide thoughtful feedback. Why is active listening important in leadership? A leader who actively listens builds trust and rapport with their team, understands team concerns and provides better solutions, reduces miscommunication and errors in operations, encourages team engagement and open discussions. Example: a restaurant manager notices a team member struggling with a heavy workload. Instead of assuming, the manager actively listens, asks open-ended questions, and helps adjust schedules to prevent burnout. What happens when leaders do not listen actively? Team members feel unheard and undervalued. Misunderstandings lead to mistakes and inefficiencies. Workplace morale declines, increasing turnover rates. Guest complaints are not handled properly, reducing satisfaction. Why is active listening important in guest interactions? Guests appreciate when service providers listen carefully to their needs. Active listening ensures that orders are accurate, reducing service errors. Guest complaints are handled properly, increasing satisfaction. Service is personalized, making guests feel valued. Example: a hotel receptionist listens carefully to a guest's request for a quiet room and ensures they are placed away from elevators or busy areas, enhancing their stay experience. What is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence, EI, is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage emotions, both your own and those of others. Leaders and hospitality professionals with high emotional intelligence can navigate challenges effectively, foster strong relationships, and create a positive work environment. The four core components of emotional intelligence: self awareness, recognizing and understanding your own emotions; self regulation, managing emotions, especially under stress or pressure; social awareness, empathy, understanding others' emotions and perspectives; relationship management, using emotional awareness to lead, inspire, and resolve conflicts. Why is emotional intelligence important in leadership? Leaders with high EI can stay calm and composed under pressure, recognize team members' strengths and challenges, handle conflicts professionally without escalating tension, motivate and inspire teams by understanding their emotions. Example: a bar manager notices a bartender becoming frustrated during peak hours. Instead of criticizing, the manager calmly steps in, offers support, and later discusses ways to improve stress management. What happens when leaders lack emotional intelligence? They may react impulsively, worsening conflicts. Team members may feel undervalued, leading to disengagement. Stress and tension increase, affecting productivity and service quality. Why is emotional intelligence important in guest interactions? Guests come from different backgrounds, and their experiences are shaped by emotions. A service provider with high EI can read guests' moods and adjust their approach accordingly, respond to complaints with empathy and professionalism, create memorable experiences by understanding guests' needs. Example: a guest at a restaurant receives the wrong dish and seems upset. A server with emotional intelligence stays calm, listens attentively, apologizes sincerely, and offers a quick resolution, turning a negative moment into a positive experience. How active listening and emotional intelligence work together. Active listening and emotional intelligence go hand in hand. When a leader or team member listens actively while also understanding emotions, they can de-escalate conflicts before they worsen, strengthen trust with both team members and guests, deliver exceptional service by anticipating needs. Example of combining active listening and emotional intelligence: a front desk agent notices a guest is frustrated upon arrival. Instead of immediately proceeding with check-in, they use active listening, listen attentively as the guest explains their travel delays. Apply emotional intelligence, recognize the guest's frustration and acknowledge it empathetically. Respond effectively, offer a complimentary refreshment and a quick check-in process to improve their experience. This small act of understanding and responsiveness strengthens guest relationships and enhances loyalty. Practical steps to improve active listening and emotional intelligence. 1. Practicing active listening daily. Remove distractions. Avoid checking phones or multitasking. Repeat and summarize key points from conversations. Use open-ended questions, e.g., "Can you tell me more about that?" 2. Developing emotional intelligence in leadership. Reflect on your emotional responses to challenges. Take deep breaths before reacting in stressful situations. Observe team members' body language and adjust your approach accordingly. 3. Role-playing exercises for training. Scenario 1. Handling a frustrated guest. One team member plays an upset guest with complaint. Another team member practices active listening and responding with empathy. The team discusses what was done well and what could be improved. Scenario 2. Dealing with a team conflict. Two employees act out a disagreement. A leader steps in to mediate using active listening and emotional intelligence. The group reflects on how the situation was handled. Final thoughts. Active listening and emotional intelligence are key leadership skills that enhance teamwork, improve guest satisfaction, and create a positive work culture. Leaders who listen carefully, manage emotions well, and show empathy build stronger teams and better guest relationships. 2.3 Building affinity with guests and team members. What is affinity? Affinity is the foundation of trust, connection, and positive relationships. In leadership and hospitality, building strong affinity with both team members and guests creates a supportive, collaborative, and welcoming environment. When affinity is high, teams work together more effectively with fewer conflicts. Guests feel valued and appreciated, leading to higher satisfaction and repeat visits. Leaders inspire loyalty and engagement, creating a positive workplace culture. Affinity is not just about being friendly, it is about creating a deep sense of connection through genuine care, respect, and engagement. 1. How to build affinity with team members. 1.1 Recognizing and valuing contributions. When team members feel appreciated, they are more likely to be motivated, engaged, and committed to their work. How to recognize contributions effectively. Give specific praise. Instead of saying, "Good job today," say, "I appreciate how you handled that difficult guest with patience and professionalism." Celebrate small and big wins. Acknowledge milestones, such as learning a new skill or completing a busy shift successfully. Show appreciation regularly. Simple gestures like a thank you note, a shout out in team meetings, or a one-on-one conversation build affinity. Example: a manager notices a server going above and beyond to assist an elderly guest. At the end of the shift, the manager acknowledges their effort and shares the positive feedback with the rest of the team. When recognition is lacking, team members feel undervalued and disengaged. Morale decreases, leading to high turnover rates. Employees stop putting in extra effort, affecting service quality. 1.2 Building personal connections. Leaders who take the time to know their team members personally foster stronger relationships. Ways to build personal connections. Learn and remember personal details, such as hobbies, family, or career goals. Show interest in team members' well-being and development. Have informal check-ins where employees can share feedback or concerns. Example: a restaurant supervisor remembers that a team member is studying hospitality and offers them additional training opportunities to help with their career growth. When personal connection is absent, team members feel like just a number, not part of a team. There is a lack of trust and poor communication. Employees feel unsupported and less engaged in their work. 1.3 Creating a culture of trust and support. Trust is essential in any high-functioning team. Leaders build affinity by ensuring that employees feel safe, respected, and supported in their roles. How to build trust with a team. Be transparent and honest. Keep communication open and clear. Support team members during challenges rather than placing blame. Encourage a collaborative, problem-solving approach instead of a fear-based culture. Example: a cafe owner notices tension between kitchen and service staff. Instead of ignoring it, they facilitate a team discussion to address concerns and find solutions together. When trust is lacking in a team, employees are hesitant to ask for help or share concerns. Conflicts arise due to miscommunication and misunderstandings. Team members become disengaged, leading to poor service quality. Number 2. How to build affinity with guests. Affinity in guest interactions goes beyond providing a service. It's about creating meaningful connections that make guests feel special, valued, and appreciated. 2.1 Personalizing the guest experience. A personalized experience makes guests feel recognized and valued, leading to greater satisfaction and loyalty. Ways to personalize guest service. Use guests' names whenever possible. Remember and acknowledge repeat guests and their preferences. Offer tailored recommendations based on their tastes or needs. Example: a hotel receptionist notices a frequent guest prefers a room with a garden view and ensures that preference is noted for future stays. When personalization is missing, guests feel like just another transaction. Service feels robotic and lacks warmth. Guests are less likely to return or recommend the business. 2.2 Active engagement and warmth. The way a team interacts with guests significantly impacts their experience. Warm, genuine engagement builds emotional connections and lasting impressions. How to engage guests effectively. Greet every guest with enthusiasm and a smile. Be attentive to nonverbal cues and anticipate needs before they ask. Show genuine interest in their experience. Ask how their meal or stay is going. Example: a server notices a guest struggling with the menu and offers thoughtful suggestions based on their dietary preferences, making the experience more enjoyable. When engagement is lacking, guests feel ignored or unimportant, service interactions feel cold or unmemorable, the business struggles to build repeat customers. 2.3 Handling guest issues with empathy. Not every guest interaction will be positive, but how issues are handled determines whether a guest leaves satisfied or frustrated. Steps to resolve guest issues with Affinity. Listen attentively. Let the guest fully explain the issue. Acknowledge and validate their feelings. Show empathy before offering a solution. Offer a resolution. Provide a fair and quick solution that aligns with company policies. Follow up. Check back to ensure the guest is satisfied. Example, a guest complains that their coffee order was incorrect. Instead of just remaking it, the barista apologizes sincerely, thanks them for their patience, and offers a small complimentary item to enhance their experience. When Affinity is lacking in problem solving, guests feel dismissed or unimportant. Complaints escalate, leading to negative reviews. The business loses opportunities to turn negative experiences into positive ones. Number 3, the long-term benefits of building Affinity. By consistently prioritizing Affinity, leaders and teams create a stronger, more successful hospitality environment. Benefit: impact on team, impact on guests, increased engagement. Employees feel valued and motivated to perform well. Guests feel welcomed and appreciated. Higher retention. Strong workplace relationships reduce staff turnover. Repeat guests contribute to business growth. Improved collaboration, teams communicate and cooperate better. Guests experience seamless, high-quality service. Enhanced reputation. Happy employees lead to a positive work culture. Satisfied guests leave great reviews and recommend the business. A team that feels connected, supported, and valued naturally extends that energy to guests, creating a culture of warmth and excellence. 2.4 Hands-on exercise, trust building and empathy training. Purpose of the exercise. This interactive exercise is designed to strengthen trust, teamwork, and empathy among team members. It will help leaders and staff develop deeper connections, understand different perspectives, and improve problem solving through active listening and emotional intelligence. Key outcomes: build stronger trust between team members, enhance empathy by understanding others' perspectives, improve active listening skills for better communication, strengthen teamwork for a more connected workplace. Exercise 1. Blind Trust, Walk Objective. This exercise enhances trust and communication between team members by requiring one person to guide another who is blindfolded. Materials needed: blindfolds or scarves, towels to cover eyes. An open space with minor obstacles: chairs, tables, or taped lines on the floor. Instructions: pair up team members. One person will be blindfolded, the walker, and the other will be the guide. The guide must verbally direct the blindfolded person through the space, avoiding obstacles. The blindfolded person must trust their partner's instructions completely. After reaching the end, partners switch roles. At the end of the exercise, have a group discussion on how it felt to trust someone completely and how effective communication played a role. Discussion questions: how did it feel to trust someone without seeing? What communication techniques made this easier? How does this relate to teamwork and guest interactions? Key learning: trust and clear communication are essential in hospitality. Just like the blindfolded person depended on their guide, guests rely on service teams for guidance and a smooth experience. Exercise 2, the Empathy Mirror. Objective: this exercise helps team members develop empathy and active listening by experiencing different perspectives. Materials needed: pre-written guest and team member scenarios, or create real-life examples. Instructions: divide the group into pairs. One person will play a guest or team member with a challenge, and the other will be a listener. The person playing the guest team member will express a concern, frustration, or need, e.g., "I've had a long day and my food order is wrong." The listener must maintain eye contact and show active listening. Repeat back what they heard to confirm understanding. Acknowledge feelings before responding with a solution. After a few minutes, partners switch roles with a new scenario. Example scenarios: a guest has had a delayed flight and is upset about a slow check-in. A team member is feeling overwhelmed during a busy shift. A guest has a dietary restriction but received the wrong order. Discussion questions: how did it feel to have your concerns listened to? What made the response feel genuine and empathetic? How can this be applied to daily guest interactions? Key learning. Empathy and active listening make both guests and team members feel valued. A simple acknowledgement of feelings before offering solutions can completely change the outcome of a situation. Exercise 3. The Trust Circle Objective. This activity builds team cohesion and emotional connection by creating a space for open communication and vulnerability. Materials needed. A quiet space where the team can sit in a circle. Instructions. The team sits in a circle with no distractions. Each person completes this sentence. One thing I appreciate about someone in this team is. One thing I struggle with in my role that I'd like support on is. Rules. No interruptions. Each person speaks while others listen. Responses should be constructive and supportive. No one is forced to share if they're uncomfortable. After all have spoken, discuss how small acts of appreciation and support can strengthen trust in the workplace. Discussion questions. How did it feel to give and receive appreciation? What did you learn about your team members' challenges? How can we better support each other moving forward? Key learning. Trust grows when people feel heard and appreciated. A team that communicates openly and supports one another will provide better guest experiences. Final takeaways and application. These exercises highlight that trust and empathy are not just soft skills. They are essential for effective teamwork and exceptional guest service. Key reflection points. Trust allows teams to function smoothly under pressure. Empathy ensures that guests and team members feel valued. Active listening builds stronger relationships and reduces miscommunication. Next steps. Encourage team members to apply active listening daily. Create weekly trust talks where employees can share concerns openly. Reinforce empathy training with real-life role-playing scenarios. Chapter 3. Reality. Setting clear expectations and alignment. In this chapter, we shift from connection to clarity. Reality in leadership means making sure everyone understands what's expected, clearly, consistently, and confidently. It's about defining roles, setting standards, and aligning your team with both the vision and the daily execution it takes to get there. You'll explore how clarity drives accountability, reduce confusion, and learn to balance big-picture thinking with on-the-ground leadership. A hands-on role-play exercise will help you practice turning leadership vision into team alignment. Let's bring things into focus. 3.1. What is reality in leadership? Understanding reality in leadership. Reality in leadership refers to the facts, structure, and shared understanding within a team or organization. A strong leader ensures that expectations, goals, and operational standards are clear, realistic, and achievable for their team. Without a well-defined reality, teams experience confusion, inefficiency, and frustration. Leaders must balance vision, what they aspire to achieve, with practical execution, what can realistically be done within constraints such as time, resources, and skills. A leader grounded in reality provides clear expectations about roles and responsibilities, aligns the team with operational goals and guest service standards, anticipates and addresses challenges with practical solutions, ensures fairness and consistency in team management. A strong reality framework helps teams perform efficiently, reduces misunderstandings, and builds trust in leadership. Why reality matters in leadership. A leader must establish a clear and structured reality so that team members understand their roles, expectations, and performance metrics. When reality is unclear, teams face misalignment, stress, and operational failures. Key aspects of reality in leadership. Defining clear expectations. Leaders must communicate precise job roles, performance goals, and service standards. Ambiguity leads to mistakes, inefficiencies, and frustration among team members. Example, a restaurant manager ensures that every server understands their table assignments, guest interaction protocols, and upselling techniques before a busy shift. Ensuring alignment between vision and execution. Vision is aspirational, but reality is what can be realistically achieved within constraints. Leaders must break down large goals into actionable steps for the team. Example, a hotel wants to increase guest satisfaction scores. A leader ensures this vision translates into practical steps like personalized check-ins, faster room service, and improved housekeeping response times. Providing consistent structure and accountability. Employees perform best when they understand the structure and accountability measures in place. A lack of structure leads to inconsistencies, which negatively impact service quality. Example: a cafe supervisor ensures that all baristas follow a standardized process for making coffee, preventing quality variations that might frustrate guests. Anticipating and managing operational challenges. Leaders who embrace reality recognize challenges before they become crises. They ensure the team is prepared to handle peak hours, supply shortages, or unexpected guest complaints. Example: a banquet manager anticipates a larger than expected event crowd and adjusts staffing levels to avoid service delays. Signs that reality is missing in leadership. When a leader fails to establish a clear and realistic operational reality, the following issues arise. Signs of lack of reality impact in team and operations: conflicting instructions from leadership, team confusion and inefficiency, unclear job roles and expectations, increased mistakes and lack of accountability, unrealistic goals with no clear action plan, team burnout and disengagement, lack of structure and workflow, poor service quality and guest complaints, ignoring operational challenges, service failures and crisis situations. A leader must regularly assess whether the team fully understands their roles, expectations, and the company's service vision. How to strengthen reality in leadership. 1. Communicate expectations clearly and repeatedly. Ensure that all team members understand their responsibilities by using job descriptions, training sessions, and shift briefings. Use simple, direct, and transparent language to avoid misinterpretation. Reinforce key expectations regularly instead of assuming employees remember everything after one explanation. Example: a front desk manager reviews check-in protocols every morning with the team to ensure consistency. 2. Set achievable and measurable goals. Goals should be specific, realistic, and time-bound so the team knows exactly what is expected. Break large goals into small, actionable steps to track progress and ensure accountability. Example: instead of telling a server to increase guest satisfaction, a leader sets a measurable goal, such as greeting guests within 1 minute of seating and checking in on them at least twice during their meal. 3. Ensure role and task clarity. Define job roles and eliminate overlapping responsibilities that might confuse employees. Cross-train employees so they can adapt in case of unexpected staffing issues. Use checklists and standard operating procedures, SOPs, to reinforce role clarity. Example: a housekeeping manager ensures that each housekeeper knows their assigned rooms and has a detailed checklist for quality control. 4. Provide consistent feedback and coaching. Reality is reinforced when employees receive regular, structured feedback on their performance. Leaders should address problems immediately and offer constructive solutions instead of waiting until an annual review. Coaching should be solution-oriented, helping employees understand how to improve without feeling criticized. Example: a kitchen leader observes a chef preparing a dish incorrectly. Instead of reprimanding them, the leader demonstrates the correct technique and ensures they understand the reason for the adjustment. 5. Be transparent about challenges and limitations. Leaders must acknowledge real constraints such as staffing shortages, budget restrictions, or operational delays. Avoid overpromising results that cannot realistically be achieved. Engage the team in finding solutions rather than hiding or ignoring difficulties. Example: a hotel manager explains to the front desk team that due to high occupancy, early check-ins may not always be possible. Instead of frustrating guests with vague promises, the team is trained to set realistic expectations and offer alternatives like luggage storage or access to lounge areas. Reality in leadership and guest experience. A well-established reality does not only impact team performance, it directly influences guest satisfaction and service consistency. Strong reality in leadership, impact on guests. Clear service expectations for staff. Consistent, high-quality service. Well-trained teams who know their roles. Faster and more efficient service. Transparent communication of policies. Guests know what to expect. Problem-solving systems in place. Issues are handled smoothly. Example: a resort that clearly states its check-in and check-out policies on the website prevents guests from arriving with false expectations, reducing complaints at reception. Final thoughts on reality and leadership. Reality is about ensuring that teams have clarity, structure, and a shared understanding of goals and responsibilities. Leaders must communicate expectations, reinforce structure, and manage operational challenges proactively. When reality is clear, teams are confident, guests receive better service, and operations run smoothly. 3.2 Defining roles, responsibilities, and performance standards. Why defining roles and responsibilities is essential in leadership. Clearly defining roles and responsibilities is the foundation of an organized, high-performing team. When team members know exactly what is expected of them, they can work efficiently with minimal confusion or overlap, take ownership of their responsibilities without micromanagement, align their performance with team and organizational goals, provide consistent service to guests, ensuring a seamless experience. A leader's role is to establish, communicate, and reinforce these expectations while ensuring accountability across the team. 1. How to clearly define roles and responsibilities. 1.1 Assigning clear job roles. Every team member should understand their primary responsibilities, tasks, and expected behaviors in their role. Leaders must ensure that job descriptions are clear, concise, and up to date. Roles do not overlap unnecessarily, preventing confusion. Team members know who to report to and where their responsibilities begin and end. Example: in a restaurant setting, defining roles prevents waitstaff from handling kitchen tasks or bartenders from being responsible for food orders. This ensures operational efficiency. Role, primary responsibilities, key performance expectations. Serve or take orders, serve food, ensure guest satisfaction, greet guests within 2 minutes, check back twice per meal, ensure accurate orders, host greet and seat guests, manage reservations, answer inquiries, maintain a friendly demeanor, provide estimated wait times accurately. Barista, prepare coffee and beverages, maintain station cleanliness, consistency in drink quality, service speed under 3 minutes per drink. Housekeeper, clean rooms, restock amenities, report maintenance issues, complete room cleaning within 30 minutes, maintain high cleanliness scores. By having these clearly outlined roles, leaders reduce role confusion, which leads to better team coordination and guest satisfaction. 1.2 Defining task ownership and eliminating role overlap. Unclear roles lead to duplicate efforts, inefficiencies, and mistakes. Leaders should define who is responsible for specific tasks to prevent gaps in service. Ensure team members understand how their work connects to others. Use SOPs, standard operating procedures, to clarify role expectations. Example: if both a hotel receptionist and concierge believe they are responsible for guest inquiries about local attractions, they may both provide different answers, causing confusion for guests. Clearly defining who handles what ensures consistency. Signs of role overlap issues. Tasks are left incomplete because everyone assumes someone else will do them. Team members feel frustrated because their efforts are being duplicated. Guests receive inconsistent service, leading to confusion and dissatisfaction. To resolve overlap, a leader must clarify task ownership, ensuring that each person has defined duties without unnecessary duplication. 2. Setting clear performance standards. 2.1 What are performance standards? Performance standards define the level of quality, efficiency, and professionalism expected in each role. They provide a measurable way to assess success and help maintain consistency in service. Leaders should ensure that performance standards are specific, clearly state what is expected; measurable, include metrics for evaluating performance; achievable, realistic based on team skills and resources; time-bound, set deadlines or service timeframes. 2.2 Creating performance standards for different roles. Role performance standard measurement method. Server greet guests within 2 minutes of being seated. Observations and guest feedback. Front desk agent. Process check-ins within 5 minutes. Timed audits. Housekeeping staff. Maintain cleanliness score of 90% or higher. Guest reviews and manager inspections. Bartender. Prepare drinks within 3 minutes with consistent quality. Drink consistency audits and service speed tracking. By defining these clear benchmarks, leaders ensure fair performance evaluations and provide team members with clear goals to strive for. 3. How to communicate and reinforce roles and performance standards. 3.1 Effective communication strategies. Leaders should clearly communicate expectations through pre-shift meetings to discuss daily responsibilities, training sessions that define each role in detail, performance reviews that reinforce and adjust expectations as needed, visual aids such as role charts, checklists, or training manuals. Example: a restaurant supervisor holds a pre-shift briefing where they confirm each person's assigned section, defining roles, review expected service times for the night, performance standards, ask if anyone needs clarification on their responsibilities, ensuring alignment. 3.2 Holding team members accountable. Accountability ensures that team members take ownership of their roles and consistently meet performance expectations. Leaders should provide real-time feedback, correct mistakes immediately and constructively, acknowledge and reward good performance, recognize team members who consistently meet or exceed standards, address underperformance directly, offer coaching before taking disciplinary action. Example: if a server forgets to check on guests after delivering food, a manager can use gentle correction. I noticed table 4 didn't receive a check-in after their meal was delivered. Let's make sure to follow up within 5 minutes to maintain excellent service. If the issue persists, further training or corrective action may be necessary. 4. Common challenges in defining roles and performance standards. 4.1 Resistance to role definitions. Some team members resist change or feel restricted by defined roles. To manage this, explain how clear roles reduce confusion and improve teamwork. Involve employees in role discussions to ensure they understand their responsibilities. Allow flexibility when necessary to adapt to high-demand situations. 4.2 Difficulty in measuring performance. Some performance aspects, like guest satisfaction, are subjective. Leaders can use guest feedback surveys to gather measurable insights, implement peer reviews where team members assess each other's contributions, observe real-time interactions, and offer coaching based on behavior. 4.3 Ensuring consistency across shifts. If different managers enforce different expectations, teams become confused. To maintain consistency, use written SOPs that all leaders follow. Train all supervisors to reinforce the same standards. Hold weekly manager meetings to align on expectations. Final thoughts on defining roles, responsibilities, and performance standards. Clearly defined roles eliminate confusion, boost efficiency, and improve service quality. Performance standards provide measurable benchmarks that help teams succeed. Leaders must reinforce expectations through training, feedback, and accountability. Consistency in role definition ensures smooth operations across all shifts. 3.3 The balance between vision and operational execution. What is the balance between vision and operational execution? In leadership, vision represents the long-term goals, purpose, and direction of the organization, while operational execution ensures that daily tasks and responsibilities align with that vision in a practical, measurable way. A great leader must balance big-picture thinking with real-world execution to ensure that the team understands and works toward the larger mission and goals, operates efficiently, maintaining consistency and quality, adapts to challenges while keeping long-term objectives in focus. Without this balance, a leader risks either being too visionary, where ideas sound exciting but lack structure and execution, leading to confusion and frustration, being too operational, where daily tasks are completed efficiently but lack a bigger purpose, leading to low motivation and disengagement. The best leaders find the right mix of inspiration and practicality, ensuring that teams stay motivated, efficient, and aligned with the organization's mission. 1. Understanding vision versus operational execution. What is vision? Vision is the long-term goal of an organization, providing a clear sense of purpose and direction. A strong vision inspires team members to see their work as meaningful, helps leaders make strategic decisions for the future, ensures consistency in values, culture, and service standards. Example of vision in hospitality: to create a sustainable, guest-first dining experience that promotes plant-based eating and eco-conscious practices. This vision guides decisions, such as using locally sourced ingredients, minimizing waste, and training staff in sustainable hospitality. What is operational execution? Operational execution is the day-to-day implementation of tasks, procedures, and strategies that bring the vision to life. It ensures consistency in service quality through well-defined processes, efficiency in operations, preventing miscommunication and delays, clear roles and accountability so team members know their responsibilities. Example of operational execution: ensuring all front-of-house staff follow a standard greeting when welcoming guests, training kitchen staff on food waste reduction techniques to support sustainability. Key differences between vision and execution. Aspect vision, operational execution, focus, long-term purpose and impact, short-term efficiency in daily tasks, perspective, inspirational and big picture, practical and detail-oriented, driven by values, mission, and goals, standard procedures and workflows, leadership role, setting direction and motivating the team, managing daily operations and problem solving. Example, we want to be the leading eco-conscious restaurant in the city, ensuring kitchen waste is sorted and reduced daily. Both are essential, and a leader must ensure they work together. Number 2, how leaders balance vision and execution. 2.1, communicating the vision in everyday operations. Break down big goals into smaller, actionable steps. Ensure that every department understands how their role connects to the vision. Reinforce the mission and purpose regularly through meetings and training. Example, a hotel that prioritizes guest-centered service holds pre-shift meetings where team members discuss ways to personalize guest experiences based on previous visits. 2.2, setting measurable goals. Aligned with vision, leaders must translate vision into practical, measurable objectives. Set key performance indicators, KPIs, that reflect both vision and execution. Vision statement, operational goal measurement, provide a zero-waste dining experience. Reduce kitchen food waste by 30% in 6 months. Track waste logs and staff compliance. Offer the best personalized service in the industry. Address repeat guests by name and remember their preferences. Monitor guest feedback and satisfaction scores. Ensure a stress-free work environment for employees. Implement a mentorship program for new hires. Track employee retention and satisfaction. 2.3, leading with adaptability. Be flexible. Adjust strategies based on guest feedback and operational realities. Balance innovation with practicality. Encourage new ideas while keeping feasibility in mind. Empower team members. Allow them to contribute ideas for better execution. Example, a cafe owner wants to introduce a new seasonal menu but ensures staff is trained and ready before launching it to avoid service disruptions. 2.4, managing team expectations. Employees must feel connected to both the vision and the daily execution. Leaders should explain the why behind procedures to create buy-in, recognize and reward efforts that align with long-term goals, encourage feedback on ways to improve execution. Example, a hotel manager asks housekeeping staff for ideas on how to improve eco-friendly cleaning practices, making them feel involved in sustainability efforts. Number 3, common challenges in balancing vision and execution. Challenge 1, over-focusing on vision without clear execution. Leaders spend too much time on big ideas but fail to create actionable steps. Employees feel lost because they don't understand how to implement the vision. Solution, break the vision into small, realistic milestones with clear steps. Example, instead of saying, "We want to be the most innovative restaurant in the city," set a goal to test one new menu item per month based on guest feedback. Challenge 2, getting stuck in daily operations without big picture thinking. Leaders focus so much on daily problem solving that they lose sight of long-term growth. Teams become disengaged because they don't see a larger purpose. Solution, schedule regular strategy sessions to assess progress toward big goals. Example, a resort general manager spends every Monday morning reviewing monthly sustainability targets instead of only handling day-to-day tasks. Challenge 3, resistance to change from employees. Some team members resist new initiatives because they are comfortable with current processes. There is a lack of alignment between leadership goals and team execution. Solution, involve employees in the planning process and highlight small wins to build momentum. Example, if a hotel shifts to digital check-ins, train front desk staff on the benefits and allow them to provide feedback before implementation. Number 4, strategies for maintaining the balance between vision and execution. Strategy, how it helps maintain balance. Set quarterly goals linked to the vision, ensures progress without overwhelming the team. Regular check-ins with employees, keeps execution aligned with long-term objectives. Empower employees to contribute ideas, encourages innovation while maintaining feasibility. Use performance data to adjust strategies, ensures the vision is grounded in real-world execution. Celebrate progress and milestones, keeps teams motivated and connected to the larger mission. Final thoughts on balancing vision and execution. Vision gives direction, but execution brings it to life. Leaders must communicate the bigger picture while ensuring daily tasks align with it. A well-balanced approach fosters innovation, efficiency, and long-term success. 3.4 Hands-on exercise, real-world leadership role-playing. Purpose of the exercise. This hands-on role-playing activity helps leaders practice decision-making, communication, and problem-solving in real-world scenarios. It focuses on balancing vision with operational execution, ensuring that leaders can inspire their teams while maintaining efficiency and service quality. Key outcomes: strengthen decision-making under real-world pressures, improve communication and team leadership skills, learn to balance long-term goals with daily operational challenges, foster problem-solving abilities through situational practice. Exercise 1: the Vision versus Execution Challenge. Objective: leaders must navigate a situation where a long-term vision conflicts with immediate operational challenges. Materials needed: pre-written role-play scenarios or customized scenarios based on real workplace challenges. A timer for tracking discussion and decision-making time. Notepads for participants to write solutions. Instructions: divide participants into groups of 3 to 4. Each group will take turns being the leader, responsible for balancing vision and execution, the team members, employees responsible for daily operations, the guest or customer, optional role to add a guest interaction challenge. Assign each group a scenario where they must make a decision balancing vision and execution. Set a 5-minute timer for leaders to analyze the situation and discuss possible solutions with their team. Each leader presents their decision, explaining how it supports both the vision and practical execution. The group discusses the impact of their decision and receives feedback from other participants. Sample scenarios for role-playing Scenario 1. Sustainability versus guest expectations. Background: the hotel's vision is to eliminate single-use plastics, but some guests are complaining about the lack of plastic water bottles in their rooms. The team is frustrated because handling these complaints is taking extra time during check-in. Challenge for the leader: how do you balance the sustainability vision with ensuring guest satisfaction? How do you keep the team motivated when they are facing resistance? What immediate operational steps can be taken to address this issue? Scenario 2: expanding the menu versus kitchen efficiency. Background: a restaurant's vision is to offer a diverse, plant-based menu to attract more guests. However, the kitchen staff is struggling to keep up with orders, and service is slowing down. Some dishes are inconsistently prepared due to the complexity of new recipes. Challenge for the leader: how do you keep the vision of a diverse menu while ensuring operational efficiency? How do you involve the team in refining processes? Should you scale back the menu or improve execution strategies? Scenario 3: staff well-being versus business demands. Background: a hotel is experiencing a staff shortage, but management wants to maintain its guest-first service model. Employees are feeling overworked and stressed, and some have threatened to quit. Challenge for the leader: how do you balance service quality with employee well-being? What short-term operational changes can be made to reduce stress? How do you communicate with upper management to advocate for team needs? Scenario 4: innovation versus customer preferences. Background: a cafe's vision is to be 100% cashless, but some longtime customers still prefer to pay with cash. Frontline employees are struggling with upset guests who don't want to adapt. Challenge for the leader: how do you stick to the long-term innovation goal while keeping customers happy? Should exceptions be made for certain guests, or should there be a firm policy? How do you train staff to handle guest resistance professionally? Exercise 2: leadership under pressure. The hot seat. Objective: this variation of role-playing focuses on quick decision-making and adaptability under unexpected leadership challenges. Materials needed: pre-written rapid-fire challenges, or participants can write their own challenges. A chair at the front of the group, the hot seat. Instructions: one participant sits in the hot seat as the leader. A facilitator reads a challenge aloud. The leader has 30 seconds to respond with a clear, decisive action. After responding, the group provides feedback on their approach. Another participant takes the hot seat and the process repeats. Sample rapid-fire challenges. A key supplier is late with an ingredient for tonight's special. What do? A guest is upset that their room isn't ready on time and staff is already overwhelmed. What's your approach? Your best team member just called in sick before a fully booked evening. How do you adjust? A team conflict is escalating in front of guests. How do you handle it in the moment? Exercise 3. Reflection and improvement planning. Objective. After role-playing, participants reflect on their leadership decisions and create an action plan for improvement. Instructions. Each leader writes down key takeaways from their role-playing experience. What worked well in their leadership approach? What challenges did they face? What would they do differently next time? Leaders share their reflections with a small group, receiving feedback and insights from peers. Participants create a personal leadership action plan, focusing on a leadership skill they want to improve, a strategy for balancing vision with execution, a commitment to applying what they learned in their daily role. Final thoughts on real-world leadership role-playing. Key learnings from the exercises. Leadership requires balancing long-term vision with daily realities. Effective leaders involve their teams in problem-solving rather than dictating solutions. Decision-making should be quick, clear, and aligned with the organization's goals. Leaders must adapt to challenges while maintaining guest satisfaction and team morale. By practicing real-world scenarios, leaders build confidence, adaptability, and problem-solving skills, making them better prepared to handle complex workplace challenges. Chapter 4. Communication. Bridging affinity and reality. Communication is where connection meets clarity. In this chapter, we explore how effective communication holds everything together, strengthening relationships, aligning teams, and creating space for growth. You'll learn how to lead with transparency, resolve conflict with calm, and deliver feedback that empowers. From clear messaging to real-time coaching, communication becomes your tool for building trust and delivering results. And with a hands-on exercise focused on live coaching and feedback, you'll take these skills from theory into practice. Let's build the bridge. 4.1. How effective communication strengthens affinity and reality. The role of communication in leadership. Effective communication is the bridge that connects affinity, trust, and relationships with reality, clear expectations, and execution. It ensures that team members understand their roles, responsibilities, and goals while also feeling valued, respected, and engaged. A leader who communicates well strengthens trust and collaboration among team members, aligns the team with the organization's vision and goals, reduces misunderstandings and inefficiencies, improves team morale and guest satisfaction. When communication is clear, transparent, and consistent, it enhances both affinity and reality, ensuring a strong, productive work environment. 1. Strengthening affinity through communication. Affinity is about building trust, emotional connections, and positive relationships within a team or with guests. Communication plays a key role in reinforcing trust and mutual respect. How communication strengthens affinity in teams. Encouraging open dialogue. Leaders should create a safe space where employees feel comfortable expressing their ideas and concerns. Team members are more engaged when they know their voices matter. Example: a restaurant supervisor holds a weekly open discussion where team members can share challenges and ideas without fear of criticism. Providing constructive feedback. Leaders must balance positive reinforcement with areas for improvement. Encouraging language helps build confidence and trust. Example: instead of saying, "You're not fast enough at clearing tables," say, "You're doing well, but if you clear tables more efficiently, it will improve guest flow." Active listening and empathy. Leaders must fully engage in conversations by maintaining eye contact, nodding, and summarizing key points. Empathetic responses validate employees' feelings and concerns. Example: a cafe employee is overwhelmed during a busy shift. A manager who listens actively and offers a solution, like adjusting shift coverage, shows care and support. Recognizing and appreciating contributions. Publicly acknowledging team efforts and individual achievements builds morale. Simple acts of recognition improve job satisfaction and motivation. Example: a hotel manager highlights an employee's exceptional service during a morning briefing, reinforcing a culture of appreciation. How communication strengthens affinity with guests. Personalizing interactions. Using guests' names and referencing their preferences makes them feel valued. Engaging in genuine, warm conversations improves their experience. Example: a front desk agent remembers a returning guest's favorite room and offers it without being asked, anticipating and addressing needs. Effective communication helps identify and resolve guest concerns before they escalate. Proactively offering solutions shows care and attentiveness. Example: a server notices a guest looking uncomfortable and asks, "Is there anything I can do to make your meal more enjoyable?" Handling complaints with professionalism. A calm, empathetic approach prevents negative situations from escalating. Acknowledging the guest's frustration before offering a solution builds trust and loyalty. Example: a guest complains about a long wait time. Instead of saying, "We're really busy," a host communicates clearly, "I understand the wait has been longer than expected. Let me check on your table and see how we can accommodate you." Key takeaway: Affinity grows when leaders and teams use communication to create an environment where people feel valued, respected, and heard. 2. Strengthening reality through communication. Reality in leadership means ensuring that team members understand expectations, responsibilities, and operational procedures. Effective communication clarifies what needs to be done, why it matters, and how success is measured. How communication strengthens reality in teams. Defining clear roles and expectations. When job roles and responsibilities are clearly communicated, employees know exactly what is expected of them. Miscommunication about responsibilities can cause errors, inefficiency, and frustration. Example: a kitchen manager ensures all chefs understand the plating standards for a new dish, preventing inconsistencies. Providing step-by-step instructions. Leaders should break down complex tasks into manageable steps. Using visual guides, checklists, and demonstrations helps reinforce understanding. Example: a bar manager implements a visual drink-making guide behind the bar to ensure all cocktails meet consistency standards. Using the right communication channels. Different messages require different delivery methods. Daily updates, briefings, or chat groups. Detailed policy changes, written SOPs or meetings. Personal feedback, one-on-one discussions. Example: a hotel manager sends shift updates via team messaging app while discussing performance feedback in person. Reinforcing accountability through regular check-ins. Leaders should follow up on tasks to ensure alignment. Regular check-ins provide opportunities for correction and support. Example: a restaurant supervisor walks through the dining area to ensure servers are following table touch protocols and gives real-time feedback. How communication strengthens reality with guests. Setting clear expectations from the start. Guests appreciate clear policies and service standards to avoid confusion. Transparency prevents misunderstandings and frustration. Example: a hotel clearly states check-in and check-out times in the booking confirmation, preventing last-minute disputes. Providing consistent messaging across teams. All employees must communicate the same policies and information. Contradictory information causes guest confusion and damages credibility. Example: if one front desk agent allows late checkouts and another denies them, guests lose trust in the hotel's consistency. Using simple, professional language. Clear, direct language avoids misunderstandings. Overly complex or vague communication can confuse guests. Example: instead of saying, "I'll try to see what I can do," a receptionist should say, "I will check for an available upgrade and confirm with you shortly." Key takeaway: reality is strengthened when leaders provide clear, structured, and consistent communication, ensuring that both team members and guests know exactly what to expect. 3. Balancing affinity and reality through communication. Effective leaders balance warmth, affinity, with clarity, reality in their communication. Communication approach: impact on affinity, impact on reality. Open and transparent dialogue builds trust within the team, ensures clear expectations. Constructive feedback and coaching boosts morale and confidence, helps employees improve performance. Active listening and empathy strengthens relationships, helps identify operational challenges. Clear instructions and guidelines reduces confusion and frustration, keeps service consistent. Example: a team meeting begins with recognizing outstanding employees, affinity, followed by a discussion of new service protocols, reality. This approach ensures that employees feel valued while staying aligned with operational expectations. Final thoughts on communication, affinity, and reality. Affinity grows when leaders use communication to foster trust and connection. Reality is strengthened when communication provides clear, structured expectations. Balancing both creates a high-performing, motivated, and service-focused team. 4.2 Transparency, clarity, and conflict resolution. The role of communication in leadership. Strong leadership relies on clear, transparent communication to create a workplace where teams understand expectations, trust leadership, and work together effectively. One of the biggest challenges in leadership is resolving conflicts while maintaining team morale and operational efficiency. When leaders focus on transparency, clarity, and conflict resolution, they build trust and credibility with their teams, reduce misunderstandings and inefficiencies, strengthen teamwork and collaboration, prevent small issues from escalating into larger conflicts. Leaders who communicate openly, define expectations clearly, and handle conflicts professionally create a stable and positive work environment. 1. Transparency in leadership. What is transparency? Transparency means being honest, open, and direct about decisions, expectations, and challenges. A transparent leader provides clear reasoning for policies and changes rather than making decisions in secrecy. Why transparency is important. Builds trust. Employees respect leaders who are honest about business realities. Prevents rumors and confusion. A lack of information leads to gossip and speculation. Encourages team engagement. Employees are more motivated when they understand company goals and decisions. How leaders can communicate transparently, explain the why behind decisions. Instead of simply announcing a new policy, explain the reasoning behind it. Employees are more likely to accept change if they understand its purpose. Example: a restaurant shifts to digital ordering. Instead of saying, starting next week, all orders will be taken on tablets, a leader communicates, we're introducing tablets to reduce wait times, minimize errors, and improve service efficiency. Be honest about challenges. If business is slow or operational challenges arise, acknowledge them openly. Avoid making promises that cannot be kept. Example: a hotel experiencing staffing shortages should not pretend everything is fine. Instead, the manager tells the team, we're short-staffed this week, but I appreciate your extra effort, and we're actively recruiting new hires. Share regular updates. Keep employees informed about company goals, changes, and improvements. Hold weekly or monthly meetings to ensure transparency. Example: a barista asks about possible salary increases. A transparent leader replies, we're reviewing wages this quarter based on financial performance. I will update the team by the end of next month. What happens when transparency is lacking? Employees feel disconnected and unmotivated. Workplace rumors increase, causing confusion. Trust in leadership declines, leading to higher turnover. Key takeaway: transparency creates a culture of trust where employees feel valued and informed. 2. Clarity in leadership. What is clarity? Clarity means delivering messages in a way that is simple, precise, and easy to understand. A leader who communicates with clarity eliminates confusion and ensures that employees know exactly what is expected of them. Why clarity is important: reduces errors and miscommunication, increases efficiency and productivity, ensures that employees understand expectations and performance goals. How leaders can communicate with clarity: use simple, direct language. Avoid vague instructions or complicated explanations. Speak in a way that matches your audience, e.g., frontline workers versus management. Example: instead of saying, handle complaints carefully, a clear instruction is, if a guest has a complaint, listen first, apologize, and offer a solution within company guidelines. Set clear expectations and standards. Every employee should know their job responsibilities, service standards, and performance goals. Use SOPs, standard operating procedures, to define expectations. Example: a new kitchen staff member is confused about cleaning procedures. Instead of assuming they know, a manager provides a step-by-step checklist to follow. Confirm understanding. After giving instructions, ask employees to repeat or summarize key points. Encourage questions and clarification. Example: after introducing a new POS system, a manager asks, before we move on, can someone walk me through the steps to enter a guest's order? Provide written and visual reinforcement. Use visual guides, written policies, and checklists to reinforce verbal instructions. Clarity is improved when information is easily accessible. Example, a hotel housekeeping team follows a laminated room cleaning checklist posted in the supply room. What happens when clarity is lacking? Employees make mistakes due to unclear instructions. Service inconsistencies frustrate guests. Teams become frustrated and inefficient. Key takeaway: clarity ensures employees know exactly what to do and how to do it correctly. 3. Conflict resolution in leadership. What is conflict resolution? Conflict resolution is the ability to address and resolve disagreements professionally and constructively. In hospitality, conflicts may arise between employees, miscommunication, role overlap, work pressure, employees and guests, service complaints, unmet expectations, employees and management, policy disagreements, workload concerns. Why conflict resolution is important: prevents workplace tension from escalating, strengthens teamwork and collaboration, improves guest satisfaction and loyalty. Steps for resolving conflict effectively: listen to both sides without bias, allow each person involved to explain their perspective, avoid interrupting or taking sides before hearing the full story. Example, two servers argue over table assignments. A manager listens to both sides before deciding on a fair solution. Acknowledge emotions and concerns. Recognize how people feel before jumping to solutions. Use phrases like, "I understand this is frustrating," to show empathy. Example, a guest complains about slow service. Instead of dismissing them, a manager says, "I understand this has been inconvenient for you. Let me see how we can make this right." Focus on the issue, not the person. Keep the conversation solution-focused rather than personal. Avoid blame and focus on resolving the problem. Example, instead of saying, "You always forget to clean the coffee machine," a leader should say, "The machine wasn't cleaned last night. Let's go over the process again." Find a fair and practical solution. Ensure that the resolution is realistic and fair to all parties. Document any agreements to prevent repeat conflicts. Example, a front desk agent is unhappy with shift scheduling. The manager reviews their concerns and adjusts the schedule fairly while keeping business needs in mind. Follow up and ensure resolution is maintained. Check back to ensure that the conflict has not resurfaced. Recognize positive behavior changes after conflict resolution. Example, a restaurant manager checks in with 2 employees a week after mediating a conflict to ensure they are working well together. What happens when conflict is not addressed? Workplace tension increases, service quality declines, employee morale and retention suffer. Key takeaway: conflict should be resolved quickly, fairly, and professionally to maintain a positive work environment. Final thoughts on transparency, clarity, and conflict resolution. Transparency builds trust by ensuring open and honest communication. Clarity ensures everyone understands expectations, reducing errors and confusion. Effective conflict resolution maintains a positive, productive work environment. 4.3 Feedback models for leadership growth. The role of feedback in leadership. Feedback is a critical tool for leadership development. It helps leaders and teams identify strengths and areas for improvement, encourage professional growth and skill development, improve communication and team collaboration, create a culture of continuous learning and accountability. Effective feedback should be timely, specific, and constructive, focusing on behavior and outcomes rather than personal attributes. Leaders who master feedback skills motivate their teams, build trust, and improve overall performance. The 1. Key characteristics of effective feedback. 1.1 Constructive, not critical feedback should help the individual grow rather than discourage them. Instead of pointing out failures, focus on solutions and improvements. Example, instead of saying, "You're bad at handling guest complaints," say, "I noticed the guest wasn't fully satisfied." Next time, try repeating their concern to show you understand before offering a solution. 1.2 Specific, not general. General feedback is ineffective because it lacks clear guidance. Provide concrete examples of behavior and its impact. Example, instead of saying, "You need to improve your customer service," say, "I noticed you didn't check back with your table after serving their food." A quick follow-up could improve their experience. 1.3 Timely and consistent feedback is most effective when given immediately or soon after an event. Regular feedback creates a continuous improvement mindset. Example, a supervisor observes a barista struggling with latte art. Instead of waiting until the next review, they provide real-time guidance and a short training session. 1.4 Balanced strengths and areas for improvement. Feedback should highlight strengths while addressing areas for growth. Employees feel motivated rather than discouraged. Example, you're great at making guests feel welcome. Let's work on upselling so they can enjoy more of our menu offerings. 2. Feedback models for leadership growth. Several feedback models help structure and improve how leaders give and receive feedback. 2.1 The SBI model, Situation, Behavior, Impact. Best for delivering clear, structured feedback. How it works. Situation, describe the specific event. Behavior, explain what the person did. Impact, describe how it affected the team or guest experience. Example, during yesterday's lunch rush. Situation, you left the bar unattended for 5 minutes. Behavior, this caused delays for guests waiting on drinks. Impact, next time, let another team member know before stepping away. 2.2 The DES model, describe, express, specify, consequence. Best for addressing conflicts and performance concerns. How it works, describe the situation objectively. Express how it affects the team or business. Specify the desired change. Consequence of making or not making the change. Example, I noticed that you often arrive 5 minutes late for your shift. Describe. This affects the team because we rely on you for a smooth handover. Express. Moving forward, I need you to be at your station on time. Specify. If this continues, we may need to adjust your schedule. Consequence. 2.3 The COIN model, context, observation, impact, next steps. Best for coaching team members toward growth. How it works, context, explain the situation. Observation, describe what was done well or needs improvement. Impact, explain how it affects the team or guest experience. Next steps, provide guidance for improvement. Example, during last night's dinner service. Context, I saw that you took extra time explaining the menu to guests. Observation, they seemed more engaged and ordered additional items. Impact, keep up the great work, and next time, try also recommending pairings to enhance their experience. Next steps. 2.4 The Start-Stop-Continue model, best for team feedback sessions and self-improvement. How it works, ask the person to reflect on 3 areas. Start, what should they start doing? Stop, what should they stop doing? Continue, what should they continue doing well? Example, let's talk about your guest interactions. I'd like you to start offering recommendations proactively, stop hesitating when answering menu questions, and continue being friendly and welcoming. 2.5 The 360-degree feedback model, best for leadership and team development. How it works, employees receive feedback from multiple sources, peers, supervisors, and self-evaluation. Provides a well-rounded view of strengths and areas for improvement. Example, a restaurant conducts quarterly 360-degree reviews where employees give and receive anonymous feedback from managers, coworkers, and even guests. 3. How to foster a feedback culture in leadership. 3.1 Encourage open feedback loops. Leaders should not only give feedback, but also seek feedback from their teams. Encouraging two-way communication builds trust and improves leadership effectiveness. Example, after a busy shift, a manager asks, is there anything I could do differently to support the team better? 3.2 Conduct regular feedback sessions. Integrate feedback into daily, weekly, or monthly check-ins rather than waiting for formal evaluations. Create a habit of continuous learning and growth. Example, a coffee shop owner holds monthly coaching meetings where employees discuss their progress and set goals. 3.3 Train leaders on effective feedback delivery. Ensure all supervisors and managers understand how to give constructive feedback. Conduct role-playing exercises to practice feedback delivery. Example, a leadership workshop where managers practice the SBI or DES model with real-world scenarios. 3.4 Recognize and reward improvements. Acknowledge employees who actively apply feedback to improve. Use team meetings or incentives to celebrate growth. Example, a hotel manager recognizes a receptionist for improving their guests' check-in speed after coaching sessions. 4. Common mistakes in leadership feedback. Mistake, why it's a problem, how to fix it. Delayed feedback reduces impact and effectiveness. Give feedback immediately or soon after an event. Vague feedback leaves employees confused. Be specific about actions and results. One-way feedback discourages engagement. Allow employees to ask questions and respond. Overly negative tone lowers motivation. Use constructive language and balance with positives. Ignoring feedback from employees creates resentment. Encourage open conversations about leadership. Performance, final thoughts on feedback, models for leadership growth. Feedback is a leadership tool that drives individual and team success. Effective feedback is clear, constructive, and given in a timely manner. Using structured feedback models helps improve communication and coaching skills. Creating a feedback culture ensures continuous growth, motivation, and engagement. Point 4. Hands-on exercise, live coaching and feedback scenarios for leaders. Purpose of the exercise. This hands-on exercise is designed for executive leaders to enhance their ability to give structured feedback, coach their teams effectively, and drive performance improvements. The goal is to ensure that feedback leads to actionable growth, fosters accountability, and maintains a positive leadership culture. Key outcomes: strengthen executive communication and leadership presence. Learn how to provide constructive, high-impact feedback. Develop coaching techniques that drive performance and motivation. Build a culture of accountability and continuous improvement. Exercise 1. Executive feedback role-playing scenarios. Objective: participants will practice giving and receiving feedback using structured models such as SBI, Situation Behavior Impact, DSC, Describe, Express, Specify, Consequence, and the Start-Stop-Continue method. Materials needed: pre-written leadership scenarios relevant to executive management, notepads for writing key takeaways, a timer for keeping responses concise and structured. Instructions: divide participants into pairs or small groups. One person will play the executive leader, giving feedback, and the other will play the direct report, receiving feedback. Each pair is assigned a realistic corporate leadership scenario. The executive delivers structured feedback using a chosen model. The direct report responds, and they engage in a dialogue about the feedback. After 5 minutes, switch roles and repeat with a different scenario. After both rounds, discuss key takeaways and areas for improvement. Sample scenarios for executive leadership feedback. Scenario 1: lack of strategic alignment. Situation: a senior manager is leading their department with a tactical focus, but is not aligning their team's priorities with the company's strategic goals. Leaders' feedback. Using SBI situation. During last quarter's leadership review, we discussed aligning department initiatives with company-wide objectives. Behavior: your team continues to focus on operational improvements without integrating the strategic priorities we set. Impact: this creates misalignment and slows progress on company-wide initiatives. I need you to adjust your focus to ensure strategic execution. Direct report response: the participant playing the manager responds as they would in a real leadership discussion, addressing concerns and discussing next steps. Discussion questions: was the feedback specific and actionable? How could the leader ensure better alignment in the future? Did the response demonstrate understanding and commitment? Scenario 2: resistance to organizational change, DESC model. Situation: a department head is resistant to implementing new corporate initiatives, leading to delays in adoption across the company. Leaders' feedback. Using DEF, describe: I noticed that your department has been slower than others in adopting the new reporting system. Express: this resistance is creating inefficiencies and causing frustration across teams who rely on these reports. Specify: I need you to fully commit to the rollout plan and ensure your team is trained by the end of the month. Consequence: if this does not happen, it will delay company-wide reporting accuracy, affecting leadership's decision-making. Direct report response: the manager explains their hesitation, and the leader works through objections to secure commitment. Discussion questions: how well did the leader address resistance while maintaining authority? Did the manager feel supported rather than criticized? What strategies could help ensure smoother adoption of company changes? Scenario 3: poor delegation and micromanagement, start-stop-continue model. Situation: an executive leader notices that a direct report is struggling with delegation, leading to inefficiencies and slow decision-making. Leaders' feedback. Using start-stop-continue. Start: I need you to start empowering your senior team members by delegating key tasks and trusting their expertise. Stop: stop reviewing every minor decision yourself. It's slowing down the workflow and limiting team growth. Continue: continue setting clear expectations, but allow your team more autonomy in execution. Direct report response. The manager acknowledges concerns and discusses potential barriers to delegation. Discussion questions. How did the leader balance support and accountability? Did the feedback include clear, actionable next steps? How can the leader help the manager feel more comfortable delegating? Exercise 2. The Blind Feedback Challenge. Objective. This exercise helps leaders develop precise and structured communication skills by eliminating nonverbal cues and forcing them to rely solely on language. Instructions. Divide participants into pairs. One plays the leader and the other the direct report. The direct report closes their eyes or turns away while the leader delivers feedback. The leader must communicate their message using only clear, structured language. The direct report summarizes what they understood to confirm clarity. The pair discusses what worked and what could be improved. Key learnings. Feedback must be precise and structured. Leaders should avoid vague or indirect statements. Confirming understanding ensures alignment. Exercise 3. Rapid feedback circles. Hot seat coaching. Objective. This fast-paced exercise trains leaders to give concise, high-impact feedback under time constraints. Instructions. One leader sits in the hot seat while the facilitator reads a leadership challenge. The leader has 30 seconds to respond with structured feedback. The group evaluates the effectiveness of the response. Another leader takes the hot seat and the process repeats. Example, rapid feedback scenarios. A director is not aligning their team with the company's long-term strategy. A senior manager keeps pushing back deadlines without clear reasons. A department leader is over-reliant on their team without providing guidance. Key learnings. Quick, structured feedback is essential at the executive level. Practicing real-time coaching improves confidence and clarity. Leaders learn to stay calm and professional under pressure. Post-exercise reflection and action planning. Reflection questions. What was the most challenging aspect of giving feedback? Which feedback model felt most effective? Why? What improvements will you apply in real leadership conversations? How can you encourage a stronger feedback culture in your executive team? Personal action plan. Each leader identifies one strength they will continue using, one area they will improve in their feedback approach, a commitment to delivering consistent, structured feedback in their role. Final thoughts on live coaching and feedback scenarios. Effective feedback drives leadership growth and team success. Practicing structured feedback models ensures clarity, accountability, and motivation. Live coaching and role-playing build confidence in handling executive-level challenges. A strong feedback culture promotes continuous learning and high performance. Chapter 5. Integrating ARC into daily leadership. ARC isn't just a concept, it's a daily practice. In this final chapter, we bring it all together. You'll learn how to apply affinity, reality, and communication in real moments, in team meetings, guest interactions, and even during high-pressure crises. We'll also look at how to track progress, grow as a leader, and guide your team through the same journey. The final hands-on exercise challenges you to apply ARC to a real-life situation, turning theory into impact. Let's make ARC part of how you lead every day. 5.1. Using ARC in team meetings and leadership interactions. Using the ARC framework in team meetings and leadership interactions. The Affinity Reality Communication Framework is a leadership tool that enhances relationships, ensures clarity, and promotes effective collaboration. By integrating ARC into team meetings and leadership discussions, leaders can foster engagement, alignment, and accountability. Using ARC in team meetings. Why ARC is important in meetings. Many meetings fail due to a lack of engagement, unclear objectives, or poor communication. The ARC framework helps leaders structure meetings in a way that encourages participation, ensures alignment with goals, and leads to clear action steps. Meetings guided by ARC are more engaging and inclusive, as they start with affinity to create a positive environment. They are also goal-oriented and realistic, as reality ensures alignment with strategic priorities. Finally, communication structures discussions for clear decision-making and accountability. Step-by-step guide to running an ARC-based meeting. Start with affinity. Build connection and engagement. Affinity focuses on strengthening relationships and creating an environment where team members feel valued and motivated. Begin by recognizing recent achievements or positive contributions from the team. Establish a space where team members feel comfortable sharing ideas by setting a welcoming tone. An icebreaker question or brief check-in can encourage participation. For example, a leader might begin a meeting by saying, "Before we start, I want to acknowledge the team's efforts in last month's project. Let's do a quick check-in. What is one leadership insight you gained this week?" This approach helps build connection before discussing key topics. Establish reality, define objectives, and set expectations. Reality ensures the meeting remains focused and relevant. Clearly state the purpose of the meeting and explain how it aligns with broader goals. Provide relevant data or updates so everyone operates with the same understanding. Reinforce the importance of the discussion and clarify expected outcomes. For instance, a leader might say, "The goal of this meeting is to finalize next quarter's operational priorities. Our key challenge is improving team efficiency while maintaining quality standards. Last quarter's reports show a 5% drop in productivity, which we need to address." Setting clear expectations like this keeps discussions productive. Use effective communication. Bridge Affinity and reality communication connects the positive team environment established through Affinity with the structured goals defined in reality. Encourage open discussions where all team members have a chance to contribute. Summarize key points throughout the meeting to reinforce clarity. Assign clear action items and responsibilities to ensure follow-through. To close a meeting, a leader might say, "To summarize, we have aligned on 3 key priorities for next quarter: enhancing team collaboration, improving efficiency metrics by 10%, and streamlining workflow processes. Each department head will submit an execution plan by next Monday. Let's do a quick check. Does everyone have clarity on their next steps?" This reinforces accountability and alignment before concluding the discussion. Common pitfalls in meetings. Without ARC, meetings that lack affinity often feel impersonal, leading to disengagement. Without reality, discussions become unfocused and unclear. When communication is weak, action items remain vague, and follow-ups are inconsistent. A leader can address these challenges by beginning meetings with recognition and positive reinforcement to establish affinity. Setting a clear agenda and providing data ensures reality. Summarizing key points and confirming assignments strengthens communication. Using ARC in leadership interactions. Beyond meetings, ARC is also effective in one-on-one discussions, executive briefings, and leadership coaching. It ensures clarity, motivation, and alignment in leadership interactions. How ARC enhances leadership conversations. Affinity, strengthen trust and build rapport. Affinity in leadership interactions creates a supportive environment where team members feel comfortable discussing challenges and insights. A leader should recognize contributions and acknowledge effort before diving into business matters. Active listening and empathy help build trust. Encouraging open dialogue and asking thoughtful questions make team members feel valued. For example, a leader might say, "Before we get into today's agenda, I want to recognize the effort you put into restructuring your team last quarter. I'd love to hear about any challenges you faced and how we can support further improvements." This opening makes the conversation more engaging and productive. Reality, align goals and ensure accountability. Reality ensures that leadership conversations remain focused and outcome-driven. The leader should outline clear expectations and performance metrics while ensuring alignment with broader company goals. Providing relevant data or insights clarifies the current situation. For example, a leader might say, "Looking at our current performance metrics, your department is exceeding targets in productivity, but client engagement scores have dropped slightly. Let's discuss potential adjustments to address this." This approach ensures discussions are rooted in facts and strategic priorities rather than assumptions. Communication. Provide clear direction and follow-up. Communication ensures clarity, understanding, and commitment to follow through on decisions. A leader should summarize key takeaways, confirm responsibilities, and set deadlines. Reinforcing how decisions align with broader organizational goals ensures that discussions translate into action. For instance, a leader might close a conversation by saying, "To recap, your focus for this quarter will be enhancing client engagement by implementing a structured feedback system. You'll collaborate with HR to design a strategy, and will review progress in next month's leadership meeting. Does this plan align with your current workflow? This final step ensures expectations are clear and actionable. Final thoughts on using ARC in leadership and meetings. Affinity builds trust and fosters a positive environment. Reality ensures alignment and provides clarity on expectations. Communication bridges strategy and execution, ensuring effective follow-through. By integrating ARC into leadership communication, meetings, and team discussions, leaders can create a high-performance culture where strategies are clear, communication is effective, and teams remain motivated and accountable. 5.2 Crisis Management through ARC. The role of ARC in crisis management. Crisis situations require leaders to act calmly, decisively, and effectively. Whether dealing with internal challenges, operational disruptions, or external business threats, the Affinity Reality Communication ARC framework provides a structured approach to manage crises with clarity and confidence. By applying ARC in crisis management, executive leaders can maintain trust and team stability during high-pressure situations. Affinity. Ensure clarity in assessing the situation and setting priorities. Reality. Deliver clear, transparent, and action-oriented communication. Leaders who integrate ARC into crisis response are better equipped to resolve challenges efficiently, reduce long-term damage, and keep teams aligned and motivated. 1. Applying ARC to crisis management. ARC component, how it helps in crisis management. Example: Affinity, building trust and stability. Keep the team calm, engaged, and confident in leadership. Reinforce emotional stability and trust in leadership decisions. I know this situation is challenging, and I want to assure you that we will work through it together. Reality, assessing the situation and setting priorities. Define the scope of the crisis, clarify facts, and prioritize solutions based on impact. Avoid assumptions and misinformation. We are facing a supply chain disruption affecting our production. Our top priority is to secure alternative suppliers within the next 48 hours. Communication, delivering clear, decisive actions. Provide structured updates and actionable steps. Ensure team alignment and stakeholder confidence. Each department will implement a contingency plan. Operations will oversee supply chain adjustments, while finance manages budgeting shifts. We will reconvene in 24 hours for an update. 2. Step-by-step crisis management. Using ARC. Step 1. Establish affinity, build trust, and keep the team engaged. During a crisis, panic and uncertainty can damage morale and efficiency. Leaders must first establish emotional stability and confidence to keep the team focused and aligned. Key actions to build affinity in a crisis. Acknowledge emotions and concerns without letting negativity dominate. Reinforce trust in leadership and the organization's ability to manage the situation. Encourage a problem-solving mindset rather than fear or blame. Example leadership statement for affinity. I know this situation is unexpected, and many of you are feeling uncertain. I want you to know that leadership is fully engaged and we have a plan in place. Our focus is on making decisions that ensure long-term stability while addressing immediate needs. Step 2. Define reality. Assess the crisis and set priorities. Once emotional stability is established, leaders must focus on facts, define priorities, and create an action plan. Without clear reality assessment, teams may waste energy on misguided efforts or reactive decision-making. Key actions to define reality in a crisis. Gather accurate information before making assumptions. Separate facts from speculation to ensure informed decision-making. Clarify what is within control and what requires external management. Prioritize the most immediate and critical actions to contain damage. Example reality statement for crisis management. As of now, our IT system has experienced a data security breach. We have confirmed that the breach is contained and no client data has been compromised. The priority is to reinforce system security, communicate with stakeholders, and implement preventive measures. Step 3. Communicate clearly. Provide direction and actionable steps. A crisis is often worsened by poor communication, misinformation, or lack of leadership visibility. Leaders must take control of messaging, ensuring teams and stakeholders receive consistent, factual, and actionable updates. Key actions for effective crisis communication. Be transparent, but avoid speculation. Break down responsibilities so each team knows its role. Set check-in points to update and reassess as new information becomes available. Example communication strategy for a crisis. Immediate statement. Acknowledge the crisis and provide known facts. Action plan overview. Assign roles and define next steps. Regular updates. Prevent confusion by maintaining consistent messaging. Post-crisis follow-up. Summarize lessons learned and prevention strategies. Example communication in action. The executive team will hold twice daily briefings until this crisis is resolved. All department heads will report updates by 3 p.m. each day. We are focused on a swift resolution and will keep you informed of all critical developments. 3. Common crisis scenarios and ARC-based response strategies. Scenario 1. Financial crisis or budget shortfall. Challenge. A sudden financial downturn requires cost-cutting measures. ARC approach example response affinity. We understand that budget reductions create uncertainty. We are committed to making decisions that protect jobs and long-term growth. Reality. Our revenue dropped by 12% this quarter. We must adjust spending while maintaining core operations. Communication. We will immediately review non-essential expenses. Department heads will present cost-saving measures by Friday, and we will hold a full review session on Monday. Scenario 2. Leadership resignation or major organizational shift. Challenge. A key executive unexpectedly resigns, causing leadership instability. ARC approach example response affinity. We acknowledge that leadership changes can create concerns, and we value your patience as we transition. Reality. Our CEO has announced their resignation. We have an interim leadership team in place to ensure stability. Communication. We will hold an all-hands meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. to outline next steps and take your questions. Scenario 3. PR crisis or negative publicity challenge. A company faces media backlash due to an operational failure or controversy. ARC approach example response affinity. We take public concerns seriously and remain committed to transparency and accountability. Reality. We have identified the issue and are actively addressing it through internal reviews and corrective action. Communication. A public statement will be released today. A crisis response team will be available to handle media inquiries and ensure factual reporting. 4. Post-crisis reflection and leadership growth. Once the immediate crisis is resolved, leaders must review what worked and what didn't, implement preventative strategies for future resilience, maintain transparency in lessons learned and corrective actions. Post-crisis reflection questions. How effectively was the team kept informed and engaged? Were response actions aligned with reality and key priorities? What improvements can be made for future crisis preparedness? Example, post-crisis communication. Now that the situation is under control, we will conduct a review session next week to document lessons learned and refine our crisis response playbook. Thank you for your commitment to resolving this efficiently. Final thoughts on crisis management. Through ARC Affinity ensures emotional stability and maintains trust in leadership. Reality helps define facts, prioritize actions, and align expectations. Communication ensures clarity, alignment, and transparency in execution. Leaders must learn from crises and refine response strategies for the future. By integrating ARC into executive-level crisis management, leaders minimize damage, maintain stability, and ensure swift, effective recovery. 5.3 Tracking progress and growth in ARC-based leadership. Why tracking progress in ARC-based leadership matters. The Affinity Reality Communication ARC framework is not just a tool for daily leadership. It must be continuously measured, refined, and reinforced to ensure long-term effectiveness. Tracking progress in ARC-based leadership allows executives to measure team engagement and leadership impact. Affinity. Ensure alignment between strategic goals and execution. Reality. Improve leadership communication for clarity and efficiency. Communication. By implementing structured tracking methods, leaders can assess where they excel and where improvements are needed, ensuring continuous growth, accountability, and leadership development. 1. The ARC Leadership Growth Metrics Framework. To track leadership progress, executives should evaluate how affinity, reality, and communication are being applied and improved over time. Key leadership metrics for each ARC component. ARC component leadership growth indicators, methods for tracking affinity, trust and engagement, team morale, leadership credibility, and employee feedback. Leadership 360-degree feedback, employee engagement surveys, retention rates. Reality, clarity and execution. goal achievement, strategic alignment, and process efficiency. Performance reviews, project completion rates, strategic execution audits. Communication, clarity and impact. Message effectiveness, decision-making transparency, and crisis response. Meeting effectiveness ratings, clarity in executive directives, feedback adoption rates. Tracking these areas allows leadership teams to quantify progress and adjust strategies where necessary. 2. Affinity, measuring trust and team engagement. Why tracking affinity is important. A strong executive team relationship results in higher morale, lower turnover, and stronger collaboration. Without tracking trust and engagement, leaders risk losing influence, creating disconnected teams, and reducing alignment with company goals. Methods for tracking affinity progress. 360-degree leadership feedback surveys. Conduct anonymous team-wide surveys to assess leadership effectiveness. Ask direct reports. Do you feel leadership listens to your concerns? How comfortable do you feel sharing new ideas? Does leadership recognize and support team contributions? Employee retention and satisfaction trends. High turnover or disengagement can indicate low leadership affinity. Track engagement scores over time to assess leadership impact. Executive visibility and accessibility metrics. Measure how often executives engage with teams, conduct check-ins, or provide mentorship opportunities. Leaders should track one-on-one leadership sessions per quarter, recognition moments per month. Example affinity progress report. Metric Q1 score, Q2 score improvement needed. Employee engagement survey score 7.510, 8.210. Yes. Focus on improving feedback culture. Leadership recognition frequency 2 recognitions month, 4 recognitions month. No, continue reinforcing. One-on-one check-ins with direct reports 6 per quarter, 10 per quarter. Positive trend. 3. Reality. Tracking leadership alignment and execution. Why measuring reality matters. Reality ensures that leaders are setting clear goals, aligning teams with strategy, and maintaining accountability. A leader without measurable execution tracking risks misalignment, inefficiencies, and loss of strategic focus. Methods for tracking reality progress. Strategic goal execution audits. Measure how well leadership directives are executed by teams. Audit quarterly performance metrics versus planned strategic outcomes. Operational efficiency metrics. Track how well executives and leadership teams reduce inefficiencies, streamline workflows, and manage resources. Measure decision turnaround times and operational delays. Accountability tracking for leadership decisions. Leaders should review which decisions were executed successfully and which lacked follow-through. A post-mortem on failed projects can identify leadership blind spots. Example reality progress report. Metric Q1 score, Q2 score improvement needed. Strategy execution success rate 82%. Yes, improve mid-project check-ins. Leadership decision follow-through, 70%, 95%. Significant progress. Efficiency gains from leadership initiatives, 10% increase, 15% increase. Continue optimizing workflows. 4. Communication. Measuring clarity and leadership influence. Why tracking communication is essential. Communication bridges affinity and reality, ensuring that leaders can translate strategy into action and maintain engagement. If leadership communication is unclear or ineffective, teams struggle with misalignment, misunderstandings, and poor execution. Methods for tracking communication progress. Leadership Message Clarity Index. Measure how well team members understand leadership goals and directives. Survey teams on, are executive goals clear and actionable? Do you receive timely updates on organizational changes? Meeting effectiveness ratings. Conduct post-meeting evaluations to assess clarity and impact. Key questions for tracking. Did this meeting provide clear next steps? Was leadership communication structured and concise? Feedback adoption and response rate. Measure how well teams act on leadership feedback. If feedback isn't followed, it indicates unclear messaging or resistance. Example. Communication progress report. Metric Q1 score, Q2 score improvement needed. Team understanding of executive strategy 65%, 80%. Yes, improve message clarity. Meeting effectiveness rating 7.210, 8.510. Significant improvement. Leadership feedback implementation rate 75%, 90%. Continue reinforcing. 5. Leadership development action plan. Adjusting based on ARC tracking. Once affinity, reality, and communication have been measured, Leaders must use the insights to refine their leadership approach. How to adjust based on ARC metrics. Key finding: leadership adjustment: low affinity scores, increase visibility, provide more one-on-one mentorship, and actively recognize contributions. Low reality scores: improve strategic goal alignment, clarify performance expectations, and increase accountability. Low communication scores: enhance meeting structures, simplify messaging, and ensure clear leadership directives. Leadership review and growth plan. Quarterly executive ARC review, assess progress in affinity, reality, and communication. Refine leadership strategies, adjust team engagement, execution frameworks, and messaging. Implement continuous feedback loops, ensure ongoing assessment and realignment. Final thoughts on tracking progress and growth in ARC-based leadership. Tracking ARC-based leadership ensures sustainable executive growth. Leaders must measure trust, affinity, execution, reality, and clarity, communication. Consistent evaluation helps refine leadership strategies for long-term impact. Adjusting leadership approaches based on data improves performance, engagement, and strategic success. 5.4 Final hands-on exercise: applying ARC to real-life challenges. Purpose of the exercise. This hands-on exercise is designed to help executive leaders apply the affinity, reality, communication framework in real-world business scenarios. The goal is to strengthen decision-making under complex, high-stakes situations, improve team alignment, engagement, and accountability, enhance executive communication for clarity and influence, foster a proactive leadership mindset in problem-solving. This exercise simulates real leadership challenges, requiring participants to think critically, align teams, and communicate solutions effectively. Key outcomes. Leaders will apply ARC in high-pressure executive situations. Participants will practice structured problem-solving and team alignment. Executives will develop strategies to improve long-term leadership effectiveness. Exercise 1. ARC Leadership Challenge Simulation. Objective. Participants will be placed in real-world executive leadership scenarios that require them to apply affinity, reality, and communication to resolve a challenge effectively. Materials needed: pre-written leadership scenarios or customized case studies, a timer to keep responses structured and time-efficient, notepads for participants to write down their strategies and insights. Instructions: divide participants into small groups or pairs. Each group will receive a scenario that presents a leadership challenge. Each leader will have 5 minutes to outline how they would apply ARC to solve the challenge. Each group presents their solution in a structured format: how they would build affinity to maintain trust and engagement, how they would assess reality to define facts and prioritize actions, how they would use communication to ensure clarity and alignment. The group discusses each approach, providing feedback on strengths and improvements. The exercise is repeated with new scenarios to strengthen leadership adaptability. Sample real-life leadership scenarios for ARC application. Scenario 1. Team resistance to a major strategic shift. Background: the company is restructuring its operations to streamline efficiency, but a group of senior managers resists the change, fearing it will lead to job cuts and loss of autonomy. How leaders apply ARC Component Leadership Response Affinity. Acknowledge concerns, hold open discussions, and reassure leaders that the goal is growth and long-term stability, not job elimination. Reality: clarify why the shift is necessary and present data-driven insights on how it will benefit the company and employees. Communication: provide transparent updates, involve key managers in the transition process, and offer structured support to help them adapt. Debrief discussion: how well does the solution address both resistance and the company's needs? Could the leader have used a different approach to reinforce buy-in? What long-term strategies could be implemented to prevent similar resistance in the future? Scenario 2. A leadership credibility crisis. Background: a recent executive decision led to unintended negative consequences, and now there is a loss of trust in leadership. Senior executives must restore credibility, confidence, and direction. How leaders apply ARC Component Leadership Response Affinity. Acknowledge mistakes openly and show humility. Emphasize that leadership is committed to learning and improving. Reality: clarify what went wrong, why the decision was made, and how the leadership team is adjusting strategies to fix the issue. Communication: Host an executive Q&A session, release a transparent internal statement, and ensure leadership is more visible and accessible moving forward. Debrief discussion. What leadership qualities are most important in regaining credibility? How should executives balance transparency and authority in crisis moments? What long-term trust-building measures could be introduced? Scenario 3. Executive conflict and leadership misalignment. Background. Two senior executives have opposing views on company direction, and their ongoing conflict is creating division within the leadership team. The CEO must step in to align leadership and prevent organizational drift. How leaders apply ARC Component Leadership Response Affinity. Facilitate a private leadership alignment session, emphasizing shared company goals and mutual respect. Reality. Define the core business priorities, separating personal opinions from data-driven decision-making. Communication. Establish a unified leadership message to prevent division from affecting broader teams. Debrief discussion. How can leaders balance strong personalities while maintaining alignment? What communication strategies ensure that disagreements remain productive? How can future conflicts be anticipated and managed proactively? Exercise 2. The Hot Seat Leadership Challenge. Objective. This fast-paced exercise challenges leaders to think on their feet and apply ARC under realistic time constraints. Instructions. One participant sits in the hot seat as the decision maker. A facilitator reads a high-pressure leadership scenario. The leader has only 90 seconds to establish affinity by engaging the team and keeping morale high. Define reality by clarifying priorities and outlining action steps. Use communication to deliver a decisive message. The group evaluates how well the response aligns with ARC principles. The next leader takes the hot seat and a new scenario is introduced. Example hot seat scenarios. The board has rejected a critical proposal, and now your leadership team is frustrated and uncertain about the company's next steps. A high-profile executive unexpectedly resigns, and the company must respond publicly within the next 2 hours. A competitor has announced a groundbreaking innovation that threatens your market position. Your team is demanding a fast response strategy. Key learnings from the hot seat. Leaders must quickly assess situations and communicate decisively. The ability to balance emotional intelligence with strategic thinking is critical. Structured leadership responses prevent reactionary decision-making in crises. Post-exercise reflection and leadership development plan. After completing the exercises, leaders reflect on their experiences. Reflection questions. What was the most challenging part of applying ARC in real time? Which ARC principle do you need to strengthen most? Affinity, reality, or communication? How will you apply this leadership approach in your role moving forward? What long-term strategies will you implement to reinforce ARC in your leadership style? Personal leadership development commitment. Each leader outlines one leadership strength they will continue using, one improvement area based on their ARC application, one immediate change they will make in their leadership approach. Final thoughts on applying ARC to real-life challenges. ARC helps leaders manage high-stakes situations with confidence. Practical application of ARC strengthens leadership decision-making. Real-world role-playing builds adaptability, clarity, and strategic thinking. A structured approach to affinity, reality, and communication ensures lasting leadership success.